All right, guys, welcome back to the Good Stuff Podcast, where we try to sell you on why Marysville, Ohio is a great place to call home. Hopefully by telling you the good stuff going on here in the community. Once a month, I like to sit down with a fellow real estate professional, since I am a real estate agent with Keller Williams Consultants Realty here in Marysville, Ohio. Better to learn from others and get some good perspectives. So I am here with a friend before. You've been in the business, so once I joined, I guess we were kind of colleagues, but friends outside of that. Mr. Eric Hill with Pulte Homes.
Yes. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate you having me here this morning.
Of course. Well, thanks for having me in your home office, kind of.
Yeah.
But so this is the model. What's going on here?
Well, we're currently sitting in Plain City. This is one of our newer communities in the area called Pioneer Crossing. We have been extremely active here in the community, especially recently.
I have seen.
We're going to have 187 total home sites once the community is complete. And we've been here going on right about 1 year now, and we have currently sold, I think it's right around 50 homes. So a lot of activity in 1 year's time.
Yeah. Do you have a timeline?
We probably, if I had to guess, and this will depend on market conditions, but I would say another 2 to 3 years here, most likely, give or take. Good
deal. Have you experienced any sort of slowdown?
When rates first took a jump, we maybe saw just a slight, maybe a 2 or 3 week where it cooled off a little, which at that time then we realized that the rates were, if anything, causing people to hesitate and slow down. So what we did is we created an incentive where we would provide dollars towards financing to help people use those dollars to buy rates down, to get them back closer to what rates were previously. And that seemed to really spark things. And ever since then, again, we've been steady. And I also feel like now that people have started to adjust where rates are and it's now the new normal, I feel like we've seen people start to get back into the old habits, and the traffic is definitely increased and picked up again.
Doing good. Good. It's a really interesting market, watching the things I watch and just seeing what's going on. Some things are really, really fast, like they have been. I was at a house last week, and we showed up, and we scheduled the showing a couple of days in advance, and there wasn't any openings until 6:30 that night. It's just interesting to see how some things are really hot, some things aren't. We went to that showing on last Thursday, and there were like 5 other showings going on at the same time, and we didn't even get an opening until like 6:30. And then you have some places that there's one Woodstock house that a girl in the office loves it, wanted to buy it. I've talked to a lot of other people because I put a video out on it, and it was just, it's just so cute. It had all the character and charm and all of that. And I keep seeing it come back on the market as active again. So I don't know really and it's only $110,000. It's Woodstock, so it's not like it's Plain City, So anyway, it's interesting. Some things just are flying off the market. Some things are sitting on the market. And so there's different indicators saying, all kinds of things.
Right.
So
yeah, even talking to other realtor friends, I think they acknowledged a little bit of a cooling off, and that, obviously at one time here over the last couple of years, there were multiple offers, and they were selling for way above asking price. And then that kind of cooled off. But I'm starting to hear some realtor friends again say they're starting to see the multiple offer thing again. So
yeah, especially in Marysville, the 250 mark definitely hits like the sweet spot of multiple offers. And at least in the last week, it's really seems like it's, in certain aspects, it's back to that in certain price points in certain areas. So, and obviously, plans to get out of the Marysville area, Plain City. Woo.
Yeah, it's kind of the next big boom. I see, Plain City and Marysville gradually merging together. I always kind of describe it how Columbus to Delaware kind of grew over the years and has merged together. I kind of see that happening here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how long that goes, because I remember, 08 and all of that. I was college and didn't really pay attention to these kind of things as much back then, and left for a bit of time and came back, and everything just sat. There was all this development and all this activity, and so for the last handful of years, I've thought, are we going to get back to that point where everything just is growing, really at a high rate?
Yeah.
And then it's just going to sit. But so anyway, are we going to hit a point like that again where all of that stalls, or is it going to just keep going?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we have no crystal ball that we can look into, but all indicators say that this is going to continue to be a hot market here in the Columbus area. I often talk to others, you know, they'll come to me and say, oh, well, I'm reading in the news that the market is starting to soften. And well, that's the national news that you're reading.
It's so different.
Columbus is definitely its own beast and exempt, I think, from what you hear elsewhere in the nation.
I've seen a few, industry presentations. I got a buddy in construction that saw the same thing, and I went to a real estate meeting where they had I guess it was the economic development series they've got going on in Union County that showed the map of an hour commute time, I believe was what it was specified as, from the Honda battery factory plant and the Intel plant. And Marysville, Plain City, and this, obviously a lot of metro central Ohio is in that bubble for those two big things, which are going to bring a lot of little things and a lot of extra things going on. So I think that's a big thing that people don't understand, is we are unique compared to the country, and you hear all of those negative things. And saw some articles. I've got some slides that I'll throw in here if they are relevant to our conversation about rates being up a little bit, but there's some decline in pricing across the country, and some are predicting a 20% drop in certain places, or average, or whatever the specs were. Yeah, definitely not the case here.
Yeah, we're not seeing it at all. And again, everything that we're hearing is with the continued growth of Columbus. You mentioned Intel. Obviously, everyone's talking about that. But, we're already at a deficit of homes in the Columbus, Marysville market. And so as we continue to grow and see more businesses opening up, there's only going to be more need and more demand. So again, I think one of the most recent predictors was that for the next 5 to 7 years, the Columbus market will continue to be in a deficit and a shortage of homes.
Yeah, I've heard in the 20,000 home area of deficient stock, I guess not to go too deep into it, but how hard is it, or how easy is it to put one? Would you say 178 houses here?
187.
187, dyslexic, I guess. I'm sure that wasn't an easy process, and that took, acquisition of the land and infrastructure and community and all the things. And that's only 187.
Correct.
So it's definitely going to take a long time to catch up. And so here's a good segue. There are almost close to double that coming in Marysville, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
And hopefully you're moving out too. Shorter commute.
Not sure
for
if
you.
I can announce that yet, but yes, I am, and I'm so excited to be coming back out to Marysville.
Oh, it's official? I didn't mean to.
It's unofficially official. So no, I am so excited. I don't live in Marysville, but I live north of Marysville, and my wife and I spend a lot of time in Marysville. We're involved in things in Marysville, and so in a lot of ways, Marysville feels like home. So again, it's exciting to be getting back out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're gonna have a 300 home community coming right there across from Mill Valley North.
And there's one. I assume your home is there.
What's that?
Model? The one house that's there now? Is that?
That's correct.
That's
so
your
there is
model?
a home under construction currently. That will be our Continental floor plan. That's a 4-bedroom plan, so excited about that. We'll have a mix of product in that community: ranches, 2-story, multi-level homes. So should have a little bit of something for everyone. Yeah,
very good. So to I guess give my sales pitch to why you should speak to either one of us and the expert in the room. So that's getting back to basics, I guess you could say, for you, right? So you've been doing this for a few years, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Not to age you, but your experience and wisdom.
I'm okay with that, because I think experience matters, and you're hopefully working with someone, you're in good hands. So this July will be 20 years for me in the industry, in new home sales. Yeah.
Yeah. So for you Marysville folks, he started in Mill Valley. He was, do you have any idea how many of those houses you were a part of?
Oh gosh. Well, that's a large community. It was definitely in the hundreds. I guess I don't know an exact number, but yeah.
Yeah, I always think of those kind of things of, you kind of had your hand in a large majority of that.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Eric's been doing it for a long time, and so I guess for the benefit of most out there, housing inventory is low. At different points over the last couple months, every time I look at the numbers and see, I didn't look this morning, but out of 20 to 25 to 30 houses available in the Marysville School District, at least, sometimes it was half of the market or more than half of the market were new builds. Who is a new build for? Who is Pulte for? Kind of, I've never built a new home. Yeah. What's kind of the quick elevator pitch?
Well, and I'm sure you would expect to hear this answer, but new build is for everyone. And it's funny, I'll go back to the first home that my wife and I were looking for many years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the mindset for a lot of folks is that, it's a new home, therefore I can't afford it because it's new, so I need to look for a used or existing home. That was definitely our mindset. Mm-hmm. And I know at the time the realtor we were working with was taking us to numerous existing homes because that's what we had asked for. And after seeing multiple homes and not being able to find what we wanted, or if we found something that fit in our budget, we had to still go in and put a lot of extra dollars into it that at that time we didn't have. And finally, again, the realtor we were working with at the time said, I know you've been saying existing all along, but what about new? So long story short, they introduced us to new. We fell in love. We realized we could do it. We could afford it. Again, the builders, and we do as well, Pulte Homes does as well. I mentioned it earlier, the financing incentives and programs that we have. So my wife and I have owned 4 homes during our marriages, not marriages.
Marriages, plural. No.
During our marriage. And ironically, every one of them have been a new build. Once we started, we fell in love. So getting us out of the picture now, I see that all the time, though, with folks I meet who come in and maybe they didn't think they could afford it, or maybe they didn't think it was right for them, only to kind of follow suit and fall right into that same path where they realized, oh my gosh, everything's new, it's under warranty. I always say the biggest thing you're going to need to worry about is how you're going to furnish it and, what kind of deck or patio am I going to put on the back. But otherwise, think about it. Everything it's brand new. It's the latest, greatest,
So was that your segue into what you're doing now then?
Well, yeah. You know what it was? We actually built 3 homes before I got into this industry. And so it made sense. I had a retail background previously where I was in sales and management and a district manager. And so I had that past sales experience. And so I kind of married the two where I went, you know what? I've got sales and customer service experience, many years of that. I've built 3 homes on my own and I loved that process. And so, yeah, for me, it felt like a good fit. And again, here I am 20 years later and still enjoying and loving what I do. So
Very good. Okay, so new build for anyone. So especially it sounds like in the the Marysville community is called, I missed it.
It's going to be called, you know what, I didn't mention it, so I'm glad you brought it back up. It's called Amrine Meadows.
Oh, there we go. I've seen the sign as I drive that route almost daily. Amrine Meadows. It sounds like a good variety of, you said, structures and feels there. So one of the things I've always been a little hesitant of, I'm the type that likes to dive into a subject, research as much as I can, learn everything, understand the process, understand the choices, and understand myself and the way that's going to affect the choices. So the one thing I've kind of joked with clients over the years, and not to dissuade them from new build at all, but just to say the only downfall I really see is if you have a hard time making decisions, wait till you have 57,000 decisions on what paint and what trim and what, So I guess what's the kind of 2 cents on potentially that overwhelming side of options and the pricing and that, all the things?
Yeah, no, that's actually a great question. And I think that's, again, where your sales consultant comes into play. And again, especially someone who's had years of experience. My goal is, first and foremost, sit down, get to know you, ask questions, learn about your situation, what you're trying to accomplish, what you're looking for, what your needs are, what you don't like about your current situation. But, just take time and learn about you and what you're looking for. But then my goal is then to simplify it, right? Yes, we have lots of plans, and that can seem overwhelming. But by having those conversations in that dialogue, we can gradually and immediately start to narrow down to the right house plans that fit. And so, I think of it as a funnel, right? At the top of the funnel, it's a really wide opening. And the goal is, let's keep narrowing down the information and keep simplifying it till it gets to a point where it's just the small little opening. We land on the right home, the right options, the right pricing and budget. I mean, those are all the things that I'm going to be paying attention to. So again, the goal is to make it as easy as possible and to find the right fit for you and or your family.
Amen to that. And so as the veteran salesperson in the room, a lot of times I think about what do I really bring to the table as a salesperson, and what can I help people walk through. And I like to say I'm a consultant more than sales, of consultant, that aspect of understanding somebody's position and consulting to say, here's maybe where I think you should be, or here's your options, you choose. But a lot of times I feel as though it really boils down maybe from like the highest dollar value, from what do you end up with at the end of the day. I tell people that it always becomes an emotional process, especially when you take your house that you're going to sell, and the memories that might come along with that, raising your family or whatever that might be, and being consistent in that, because a lot of times it's easy through those processes to start at that wide neck of the funnel and get to that emotional part at the bottom and forget where you started and some of the definitives that you really were at, and really, so I think that's the a large opportunity is building relationship with people and understanding where they're at, and being able to be a trusted advisor to them to say, hey, remember when you said, because something, in building, obviously, just like in a transaction, there can be problems that come up in trying to help people stay on point in any way.
Yeah.
So, as much as you might memorize the pricing or the options or these or that, but really that relationship and that trust that you build with people.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely, the relationship is the number one and most important, because that's how we get to the end result. The other thing, I just mentioned, my wife and I and our family has built 4 homes. I always remind myself, I sat in that seat 4 different times, and so I'm no different than anyone else. I'm a consumer. I have a budget. I can't go above, or if I do, it can't be much. So you have to keep all those things in mind when you're working with folks. And again, you mentioned it. The home is probably, for most, if not all, our single most highest investment that we'll make in our lifetime. And it's where we're going to spend our time and have birthday parties and make memories. And
yeah. I mean, it's there's so many things to it, why it's an important thing. And having a trusted person in your corner when you're going through that process can really help, because it is your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
It is so many other things, and being able to be consistent in that really helps out. Okay, so as far as what you've got here, how many available houses do you have? What kind of timeline, if somebody says, you know what, I do like one of those, I've seen them online, how long does it take? How long does it take to build the exact one they want?
Right. Well, here in Pioneer Crossing in Plain City, we actually offer 7 different floor plans. Oh, wow. Yeah, 3 of those are ranch plans, ranging anywhere from about 1,750 to 1,900 square feet. Everything here, also, any plan you choose does include a full basement in the purchase price, which is nice. That is not factored into that square footage that I was just sharing with you. Oh. Another unique thing about our 3 ranch plans is that they actually offer the opportunity to build up as well. So you would add another bedroom, a bath, and like a living loft space if you chose to go up. And that's typically going to add another 6 to 650 square feet on those ranch plans. So a lot of versatility. Each one of those includes a covered back porch to begin with. You can convert that space to a sunroom if you'd like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really nice. And then we do 3 2-story plans ranging anywhere from about 2,400 square feet up to a little over 3,000 square feet. And again, those also have sunroom extensions and gathering room extensions and things that can make them larger. And then we offer one 5-level split here as well. Mm-hmm. That's about 2,500 square feet at its base. Now, the 3 2 stories and the multi-level that we offer here in Pioneer Crossing, I do know we will offer those same plans coming up at Amrine Meadows in
awesome.
Marysville. However, our ranch plans will be a different offering than what we have here.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. And I assume within those, there's all kinds of options and all kinds of...
There are. I think one of the unique things about what we do is we include so many features in the base pricing. And I know sometimes,
So you're saying countertop isn't extra or light fixed?
Well, absolutely. You're always going to have options, right? Because for example, a fireplace. Not everybody wants a fireplace, right? Doesn't want to pay for a fireplace. So that is not going to be in the base house options, but it is something that's available for those who want it.
But the normal assumption of base house.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people think base house is going to be,
bare bones.
And that is not the case with us. I mean, again, a minute ago I mentioned we include full basements. I will tell you, a lot of builders start on a partial basement.
I was going to say that.
And then you opt to go to a full basement.
For sure.
So that's just one example.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I think that's, a lot of times my parents, their house in Florida got hit by the hurricane and everything, so they're going through the process of replacing that. And they were kind of speaking to that a couple nights ago of just we didn't realize that was going to be extra, and then nobody enjoys being nickel and dime.
That's right.
So, and I believe it was you guys a handful of years ago coming through one of the models. Pulte as a whole goes through and really works to identify what trends are from a lifestyle standpoint, and the home that's actually put together isn't, because as an agent, I go through all kinds of existing houses that they've got all kinds of, everything from, that was built in 1980, so the rooms and the feel is that, but then there's this big wide addition that looks like this, and so there's hodgepodge, and so anyway, you don't run into that.
Right. No, in fact, I'm not involved in this part of it, but we have a team dedicated to simply gathering information, right, doing the marketing research, and our homes are actually consumer inspired. So I often tell folks when they come in and say, I love this plan, I love how it flows, I love the layout. Well, guess what? You actually designed it. Imagine that, right? We take feedback and we listen and to what people want in their homes, the type of spaces they're looking for. We actually build these floor plans before they're ever launched in a controlled environment, like in a warehouse environment. Then we invite the consumers back in to walk these plans. So I want to say it's less than 50% of the plans that originate make it to the field. So again, you're never going to hit 100% on the mark, but we have a very high percentage of, by the time they hit the field and hit the market, they're winners. They're proven plans that people have checked off on in advance to say, yes, this is what we're looking for.
And I'll try to get some video to kind of throw in, and just like sitting in the space right here, it is a nice open concept, and as the sun's shining into that whatever room, the sunroom, yes, that is, it is a very nice layout, and obviously staged very well, but it feels right. And I remember the ones in Mill Valley, the last couple ones that were in there, just how authentic they felt, and not that they were posing, but to an extent they're posing and trying to give you an experience and what it would be like to live in the house, and anyway, very, very nice feel to it. Trying to find better words.
Yeah, we get great feedback on the plan, so
yeah, for sure. Is the sky falling now? Everybody says the sky is falling.
It is. The sky is definitely not falling. And there would have been a time in my career where I would have thought so. So again, good, bad, or indifferent, with 20 years of experience, I feel like I've seen every type of market now, the highs, the lows, the in-betweens. I did go through the 08 to 11, 12, that time frame where things really did tank, I guess, if you would say. But you know what? I look back and go, I was still able to sustain through that, and I know many people was still able to make a good living. So, no, we are definitely, the sky is not falling. In fact, I think we're in a very good place. Quite frankly, and I may get shot by some other real estate professionals, but that 2-year period that we just came through, it was fantastic, but at the same time, we can't sustain that, right? I mean, you just mentally, from a supply chain, from laborers, from, it's just, we couldn't keep up with that. So it needed to transition back into a little bit more of a normal market. I'm not even sure we're back to a normal market yet. I still feel like we're above that yet, and I see that for some time to come.
Yep. I started watching a documentary on easy money and just kind of the influence that low rates have had and all of that. And, I think we've got a while till we come off of that. And it's definitely time. Well, and it's been great if you're a seller, you've been in the market, but if you're getting into the market, the last 2 years was challenging. So I really hope that it's a fairer market moving forward, and it's the sky is not falling if you're watching the TV and the news and all that. The TV, but hopefully it's balanced and everybody out there has a fair shake of it. And those, obviously there's right steps towards home ownership and saving your money and, preparing and talking to professionals like us. And I had some buyers here recently that talked to one of the big banks, and they just kind of gave them a number. And I said, well, it might be good to talk to somebody that's going to actually walk you through things and talk with you. And it sounded like once they did, they really, once they connected with one of the folks I know in town, really found it very valuable. And so that's one of my pitches. Obviously, it's kind of selling, hey, come talk to me. I think we all do better when we lean on one another and have those relationships. And whether or not you're in the market for a house or a new build or an existing or whatever it might be, or getting your oil changed or whatever, I think having relationships is always going to be better. And having those people you can trust them any day of the week, you're more likely to trust them when it matters. And, so anyway, if you've got it in your forecast anytime in the next handful of years, reach out and talk to somebody. I'm doing equity reviews for clients, and anybody that wants one, just sit down and talk about what your house might be worth if you're looking to make a move sometime, or where you might want to go, and just have those conversations. So reach out to me, come in, see Eric, come talk to a professional somewhere. And
Absolutely. You never know until you check it out, right?
That's right. As long as you're strong enough to say no, it doesn't hurt.
That's right.
It's not in your cards.
That's right.
Well, you got anything else to talk about? I don't know if anybody's going to listen too much longer.
Well, it's a gorgeous day out today, so I'm sure if you're not out, you're going to want to get out. So
try to go get
great day to look at homes.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to look at one in Delaware here in a little bit. So we'll do that and maybe see some of what you've got available here. But
well, I'd love to show you around a little bit more. And again, I just appreciate you including me in today's conversation, and enjoy our friendship that we have outside of the real estate world. So,
and that's where I love having, like I said, relationship. It's having the whole circle.
Exactly.
It's a community.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you for letting us set up in this cool area.
You're welcome.
For your friendship as well, sir. Well, thanks for watching, guys, or listening, whatever you might be doing to intake this information. If you want to sit on the other side of the table and talk to me and tell me about the good stuff you've got going on in your world, or somebody I'd love to talk to them and have them sit over in that seat over there. And follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching this. Until next time, take care.